Hello guys, and today Ukrainian air forces have destroyed a very important command post in Kursk region, the one that coordinated the work of drone units close to the front lines inside Russia. Amazing, right? Now we have front lines inside Russia. Funny how Gerasimov, Putin tried to persuade the world that there are no more Ukrainian soldiers in Kursk and Belgorod regions, but important military objects are being demilitarized at a very high pace. And this actually reminded me the very beginning of the Russian war against Ukraine when they first started the annexation of Crimea with green men and constantly denied the presence of soldiers on the territory of Ukraine. And now they do the contrary. This is a tremendous shift in this war. They pretend there are no Ukrainian soldiers on the Russian side when we control parts of Belgorod and Kursk region. They pretend that explosions on their oil refineries, military factories, arsenals, and air bases are caused by the unknown drones. I wonder, where are these drones from? Or by some negligence or smoking accidents. That's amazing, but personally, I don't mind as long as we are able to keep implementing the only working peace plan, and that is to defeat and demilitarize Russia. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine. And if you want to see the collapse of the Kremlin, subscribe, we will discuss that on the channel soon. Who knows what will happen on the 9th of May, but even if it's not this 9th of May, the collapse of the Kremlin is really close. The bloody dictator recently celebrated 25 years of his reign, and let me know in the comments below how do you think how many more months or years Putin can survive on this bloody throne of the agonizing Russian Empire. And let's return back to my and your favorite Russian geography lessons, and today we will spend some time in Kursk region. Kursk region is an active war zone. Russia brought war back home where it belongs, and we may say that more than a dozen of the Russian regions are constantly under the attack of Ukrainian drones, Ukrainian Neptune missiles, but of course we only target the legitimate military objects. And today, Ukrainian Air Force struck a command post in Kursk region near TETKINO, the one that controls the work of drone units close to this active combat zone. You know, guys, that this war is very different from the previous wars. This war is very different from what many of the NATO troops were preparing, training for, because that's the 21st century. That's the century of artificial intelligence, drones, satellite images, GPS, and all the things. So a great deal of battles are conducted by drones and drones units. And it is especially important close to the front lines. I think in a couple of years, the very idea of this classical infantry battles will shrink dramatically, and in most cases, these will be drone units coming closer to the front lines, fighting with the other drone units. This is already what is happening on the front line. And another proof why NATO needs Ukraine with Ukrainian combat experience that is realistic, not something you've learned like 20, 30 years ago. So anytime we are able to neutralize a drone unit, it's good. But when we are able to destroy a command post, it is much better because it paralyzes the activity of our enemy for a certain period of time and definitely demotivate Russian infantry and Russian invaders. Despite fake news that Gerasimov was spreading, saying that Kursk region is under total control of the Russian army, it is still under the control of the Ukrainian army. And what is interesting, Russian military bloggers report the start of a new offensive from the Ukrainian side. Don't worry, we don't need any of the Russian territories. All we want is our 1991 borders. But that is the most effective way to persuade Russians that all they need is also their 1991 borders. Subscribe to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine, and please share these videos if you share my opinion. Moscow is in panic, Moscow is in fear because Ukrainian drones can come and congratulate Putin on the Red Square during this 9th of May parade. Honestly, this is a tragedy and a great mistake of the democratic world that Russia was allowed to distort the memory of the Second World War and use it for their propaganda, which is evil and like a classical illustration of some Orwell books. I had an honor to speak with Hanna Hopko, who is an amazing Ukrainian foreign policy expert and a great activist, a great diplomat. From my point of view, here I connect our conversation where we discuss this Second World War, the important role of Ukraine, the United States, all allies in the victory, and how Putin distorts this memory, uses it against peace, and what we have to learn from this very important period of history, including these Nuremberg trials. Maybe we will need that when Putin is in The Hague. I'm sure this moment is close in time. So right now, Ukrainian troops continue to control parts of Belgorod and Kursk regions. According to the Russian military bloggers, there are more offensive attacks on Kursk region, and the head of the Ukrainian army, General Syrsky, recently reported that he is very satisfied with this 9 months long Kursk operation. Honestly, I believe it succeeded in a number of dimensions, not only demonstrating the vulnerability and weakness of Russia to the world, not only exposing the support of North Korean soldiers and Chinese soldiers, but also distracting Russians from very important parts of the Ukrainian territories. And strategically, this is smart. Tell me, please, did you believe something like that was possible back in 2022, when even our best friends gave Ukraine 3 days, 3 weeks? But look at us now, 3 and soon a half years of this war, and Ukraine controls Russian regions. More and more explosions in every corner of this tremendously big Russian Federation, and all because Putin and his population wanted war, and they got war. Let me know what are the other topics you would like to hear on the channel. I'm always glad to tell you more. Remember to check my new channel, Anna Danilchuk, where I share my civilian experience, and I consider my recent video about the scariest and happiest moments I've experienced so far, perhaps the most personal. And I am happy to receive your thoughts, feedback, because you share a lot of truly important, precious moments, and I'm very grateful for that too. Join me on X, on Blue Sky, on Threads, on Instagram, and we have an amazing Discord community. Also, there is a link to a merch shop where you can find a lot of items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. And most importantly, thank you for the unity that you demonstrate in our community. I am blessed to have it. I'm very grateful that you are friends of mine and friends of Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!